कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदन व्रज जन रंजना यशोदनंदन व्रज जन रंजना यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजना यमुना तीरा वनचारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. जय राधा नील माधव, राधा नील माधव, राधा नील माधव श्री राधे। जय गौरनिताय, गौरनिताय, गौरनिताय श्री गौरनिताय। जय जय प्रभुपाद, 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तरशत श्री श्रीमद्भय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तरशत श्री श्रीमद्भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। जय श्री राधा गोप गोपीनाथ राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन धाम की जय। समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री गुरु और गौरांग की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवत पुराण की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। Hare Krishna. We are reading from Canto 1, Chapter 18, text number 34. ब्राह्मणे क्षत्रबन्धुर्हि गृहपालो निरूपितः, स कथं तद्गृहे द्वाहस्थ सभाण्डं भोक्तुमर्हति। जय श्री श्री राधा माधव भगवान की जय। श्री श्री गौर श्री प्रभुपाद। ब्राह्मणे क्षत्रबन्धुर्हि गृहपालो निरूपितः, स कथं तद्गृहे द्वास्थ सभाण्डं भोक्तुमर्हति। ब्राह्मणे क्षत्रबन्धुर्हि गृहपालो निरूपितः, स कथं तद्गृहे द्वास्थ सभाण्डं भोक्तुमर्हति। ब्राह्मणे क्षत्रबन्धुर्हि गृहपालो निरूपितः, स कथं गृहे सभाण्डं भोक्तुमर्हति। कथम है स्वास्था सभाण्डं भोक्तुमर्हति। ब्राह्मणे क्षत्रबन्धुर्हि पालो निरूपितः। Brahmanehi, by the Brahmanical order, Kshatrabandhuhu, the sons of the Kshatriyas, he certainly, Grihapalaha, the watchdog, Nirupitaha, designated, Saha, he, Katham, on what grounds, Tad Grihe, in the home of him, the master, Dvaha Stha, keeping at the door, Sabhandam, in the same pot, Bhoktum, to eat, Arhati, deserves. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace C.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. The descendants of the kingly orders are definitely designated as watchdogs, and they must keep themselves at the door. On what grounds can dogs enter the house and claim to dine with the master on the same plate? The inexperienced Brahmana boy certainly knew that the king asked for water from his father, and the father did not respond. He tried to explain away his father's inhospitality in an impertinent manner befitting an uncultured boy. He was not at all sorry for the king's not being well received. On the contrary, he justified the wrong act in a way characteristic of the Brahmanas of Kali Yuga. He compared the king to a watchdog, and so it was wrong for the king to enter the home of a Brahmana and ask for water from the same pot. The dog is certainly raided by its master, but that doesn't mean that the dog shall claim to dine and drink from the same pot. This mentality of false prestige is the cause of downfall of the perfect social order. And we can see that in the beginning, it was started by an inexperienced son of a Brahmana, as the dog is never allowed to enter within the room and the hearth, although it is reared by the master. Similarly, according to Shringi, the king had no right to enter the house of Shamika Rishi. According to the boy's opinion, the king was on the wrong side and not his father, and thus he justified his silent father. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादि पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Seeking the blessings of their Lordship Shri Shri Radha Nilmada, Shri Shri Gaunitai, and all the Acharyas and Srila Prabhupada and all the assembled Vaishnavas. And whatever I'm speaking is for my purification, and especially this verse is very actually it is actually zooming in the quality of impertinent behavior or prudent or what we can say impudent behavior by Shringi, who is displaying great false pride in his activity, and especially and he is daring himself that he can curse someone of exalted character of Parikshit Maharaj. So I think all the devotees are aware of the entire the context and the story, and many devotees would have been already speaking about the entire history of Parikshit Maharaj and how he's getting cursed, and also how Parikshit Maharaj fell into great thirst and hunger, and at the same time he wanted water, but Shamika Rishi is doing meditation. He is not in a position of even knowing what is happening in and around. So that is actually perfect meditation. So ideally, while we do also chanting Hare Krishna, we should be like that. So that when others come and ask some thing from us or want to disturb us, and we should be actually in this state that we will not we are not in external consciousness. But sometimes it happens also, we are not in external consciousness. And because sometimes the mode of ignorance would have caught us. But for Shamika Rishi, it was not mode of ignorance that had caught him, and he was actually in samadhi. Samadhi means that he had lost his external consciousness, but he was internally fully aware. Internally, he was awake. So that is a perfect state of meditation, which he was actually in. But Parikshit Maharaj, it was like last time we discussed, that it was a arrangement by the Supreme Lord to bring out Srimad Bhagavatam. So that's how Lord put him in a little awkward situation, and Parikshit Maharaj did not hesitate to play that role. Sometimes we may be ready to do service to Lord and to devotees, and we may say, Prabhuji, whatever you say, I'll do. But we may not be wanting to take bad name sometimes in the course of doing service. In the course of doing service, we may want to maintain good image of ourselves. Sometimes we may do also service to get good image, good name. That this person is very pious, and this person is so much having attitude of service. All that we may want to get a good name, so we may want to do that service. But only great souls of stature of Parikshit Maharaj, they are also ready to do services which apparently bring a bad name to them. But surely it will not bring bad name, because eventually, because they are playing the role on behalf of Supreme Lord, they will eventually get a much bigger and greater name and fame. But because they are not after fame and name, they are ready to do any service. They are ready to take any role. Can you give any other example of a devotee who is ready to take a villain role for the service of Lord? Very good example. Vritrasura, he was ready to take a role where he was not just for some small amount of time, but he was supposed to be the king of demons, not just to act with a demon mentality for some time or show a characteristic, but lead a group of demons. Leading a group of demons means all demoniac activities he is supposed to lead. That means what? He is supposed to act against the laws of creation made by Supreme Lord. And he would act in ways that he would destroy the demigods. So, but he was ready to do that role because it was ordained. So, so in that sense, Parikshit Maharaj is also playing a role now. But what Shringi is not playing that role. If we can see, now Parikshit Maharaj is playing that role because it is ordained by Supreme Lord. But what about Shringi? Is he also ordained by Supreme Lord to play that role? It is not. He is actually under the modes. He is under the modes of Maya. So his cursing is actually, he has to pay the price. But Maharaj Parikshit's case is actually not like that. He is actually a puppet in the hand of Lord, but Shringi is a puppet in the hand of now Kali, because he's becoming falsely proud of his Brahmanical nature, and he is thinking that he can actually curse anybody and everybody, because he is thinking. See, when we think that I can do anything, when we think I have power, and when one thinks that others are subservient to me or my power or under my rule. Yeah. So that means now Shringi is thinking I am the superior and I have nobody else. Nobody can control me and I am going to control everyone else. So Shringi is having this mentality right now. So he is thinking that he can control, and even not just control, and he can even take away the life of anybody. And not anybody and everybody. He is thinking that he can even take the life of an emperor of earth. So this is the height of Shringi, that he is thinking that he can even take away the life or curse of Shringi. So actually this is the impudent behavior of a small boy, and though his body was also small and his intelligence was also small, that because he thought that he can do anything and everything, and so that's why that's why it is said, there is a saying, when one's speech or when one's inclination is to defame others, he himself actually will get defamed. So this is one of the statement in Rig Veda. It says, when one wants to defame others, then naturally he himself also will get defamed. So that's how, actually, I want to highlight some three main aspects. I am not sure how much I'll be able to cover, but I'll try. So three main aspects. One is immaturity, one which we can see in this. And second thing I want to highlight is false prestige. And the third thing is the harsh speech, or the aspect of speech when one is angry. So I want to just focus on these three things. So here, Prabhupada also mentions that Prabhupada mentions in the purport 2 times that he is an inexperienced Brahmana. Inexperienced. He is the son of Shamika Rishi, but here it is mentioned as inexperienced 2 times. Inexperienced means what? He is immature. Immature means he has not, he might, actually we don't know exactly what is the age of this boy, but he's mentioned as boy. Probably he might have been less than 25. So he's like a boyish nature, or even lesser than that. I don't know what. There is no age mentioned, but boyish nature is there. So usually when one is a boy, he sometimes there is when one has hot blood in the body, he thinks that he knows everything, or he can do anything. You see now, that's why sometimes most of the accidents happen not by elder people. If you see, most of the accidents happen especially on bikers happens in youth stage. Why youth stage? Because they think they can they can ride at any speed, and they can attack anybody, and they think that who will care for this traffic police? Why should I bother about stopping a direct signal? Yeah, I'm not going to care. So usually this nature is there in a youth stage of little rebellion or little superiority. That mentality creeps in. So, and they think that they know everything, or they can do anything. So that is due to immaturity. So now Shrangi is also due to immaturity. He's thinking that he knows everything. He knows. Actually, first of all, he is not in the place where his father was actually doing meditation. He didn't even see Parikshit Maharaj going on garlanding, but he heard the news. Clearly, he heard the news. And as soon as he heard, he spelled a curse. Probably somebody came and told some other his friends. They saw what was happening, and they came and told him, "Oh, this Parikshit Maharaj came and he garlanded snake." On if you see immediately after few verses, there, I'll just read out. If you see this is 38th verse. Here it says, thereafter, when the boy returned to the hermitage, he saw a snake on his father's shoulder, and out of great grief, he cried very loudly. Why did he cry loudly? Not father. Father didn't cry. This boy was crying. Father? He's thinking. You can, tell. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah. Insult to his father also, and insult and great curse to the king. So actually, see, Prabhupada is first line only. Prabhupada is saying the boy was not happy because he committed a great mistake, and he wanted to relieved by the burden on his heart by crying. So he understood that time. Oh, what did I do? I cursed. So actually, he's at a stage now. He's not even aware what is happening. He didn't even see what did Parikshit Maharaj do, and by what reason did Parikshit Maharaj react in that manner. He's not thinking of past, and he's not thinking of future consequence. Both he's not thinking. He's not even thinking what will happen. Suppose if the king dies, what will happen to the entire earth planet? Who is going to rule next? See how he's cursing also. He's cursing next 7 days. Let him die. So that means so much of he is not thinking what is the cause, and neither is thinking of what is future. This is an exact aspect of speech which is in Tamoguna, where one doesn't think what is the past and what is the future consequence. So he is completely blinded. So this is a tamasic speech. This is not even rajasic speech. At least in rajasic speech, they'll do analysis, but their analysis is on their own merits. They don't consult shastras. But this is tamasic speech because it is defaming, cursing, and ridiculing. So if that is the, so this is that. So Kali Yuga was spotting out who is the person whom I am going to make as my puppet through which I can enter. And I want to first bring down the person who is actually uh, who is making the entire, who is maintaining a law and order, and who is maintaining the religion. First, I want to bring down that person. If I cut out the root, then I can spread very easily. This was the mentality of Kali. So first he brought down the king. And how did he bring down? This is also amazing. Not by anybody, an ordinary person. He brought it through the means of a Brahmana. We can imagine whom the entire society respects. So the society respects a Brahmana, and Brahmana is acting in such ways which is against the nobility of Brahmanas. Then the normal citizens will lose respect for Brahmanas. So Kali devised such a means that he will do this through a Brahmanical class of people, and he will bring down the Kshatriya class of people. Both are lost. One, Brahmanas, they lose by cursing wrongly, and Kshatriyas will die because of the curse. So Kali had a great plan, and plan worked out. Huh? ಮಾತಾಡಿ ಜೋರಾಗಿ ಹೇಳಿ, ಜೋರಾಗಿ ಮಾತಾಡಿ.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. One doubt came in the mind, Prabhuji. Actually, what you mentioned, Prabhuji, Shringi is done in Tamoguna, not in Rajoguna. But I think that is also planned by the Lord side, because in Tamoguna also the Shringi cursed to the Parikshit Maharaj, because Bhagavatam is came into the future. Because of that reason, all are coincide with that particular point, Bhagavatam. I think like that.
Yeah. So
Tamoguna, but is act in a good manner, because of end result is Bhagavatam is key.
So Prashant Prabhu is saying whether the act of Shringi speaking like this is also a plan of Lord, is an arrangement of Lord. That's why I just mentioned sometime before, Parikshit acting in a way not befitting his character of garlanding a snake around Shamik Rishi was a plan of Lord. That he became angry at that moment. That is a plan of the Lord. But Shringi cursing is not a plan of the Lord, because Prabhupada very clearly mentions, see, that he became an instrument in the hand of Kali. Prabhupada mentioned in this purport only? On the previous purport? Yeah. So he became an instrument. See, by the influence of Kali, the son of a Brahmana became puffed up with the Brahmanical power, and thus wrongly compared Maharaj Parikshit to crows and watchdog. So that this is not by the influence of Lord. This is by the influence of Kali only. There is no doubt. Shringi cursed by the influence of Kali. Parikshit Maharaj accepted the curse and also became angry while garlanding. That is by the influence of the Supreme Lord. So this is due to immaturity. Sometimes immaturity means when so the one of the signs of immaturity is self-obsession and false pride. So there are some I'll just share with you. I think I'll be able to cover only one topic, or maturity. I'll just share some signs of a person who is mature. And also I'll share some signs of a person who is immature. It is said some signs of immaturity are reactive behavior, not he doesn't think and respond. He just reacts. Now, if we can see Shringi got the news first that father is garlanded with a snake. At that moment, he did not even think, why Parikshit Maharaj should do that? He's not an ordinary person who is doing it. Why at all he is supposed to do that? First of all, who is the person who is involved? And what made from the side of Shamik Rishi, why did the emperor become angry? He is not thinking from either of the side. And another thing is, so now what should be my disposition? If you see, after immediately 2-3 verses, Shringi starts thinking, now Krishna has gone back to his spiritual world. Now I must take the role. And I am going to punish all these upstarts. He starts thinking, he starts over qualifying himself. He starts thinking himself to be much more superior than what actually he is, what is his level. So this is another problem. He thinks that he can. So because of which he starts reacting. He starts cursing. So this is one sign of immaturity is one behaves, one immediately acts in a rash manner. So that is one thing which is immaturity sign. Another is self-obsession. Self-obsession means because one thinks of only oneself. See that's why if you see now Annamaya Kosh, those who are there, they are only thinking of food. So that means there is no growth that has happened. So they can't think of higher truths of life, and neither they can think of others. When they are hungry, they think they are the only people who are hungry. And they are okay to take somebody else's food also and eat, or make somebody else as the food and eat. That also is there. So this is self-obsession. That means they are self-absorbed. And second, another point is self-defensive. So they are always trying to immediately they want to defend for anything. For anything and everything, they're self-defensive. Another is they also play. They always see themselves as victim. Like if you see Karna was always saying, these people have actually because I am born in this Suta family, that's why I am not being given rights. He would always keep quoting that I'm a victim, I'm a victim, I'm a victim. But Pandavas never said. See, though they were actually so much, they had to undergo so much injustice, they never said that we have been done so much injustice by other people. That's why we are like this now. They never said. So they never played themselves like a victim. So these are some signs of immaturity. And some signs of maturity is they have great forgiveness, the quality of forgiving. And even sometimes a person who is like Yudhishthira Maharaj, when Duryodhana actually wanted to, I'll just end in another few minutes. When Duryodhana wanted to show off his wealth and create some kind of jealousy in Pandavas' hearts. So when Pandavas all were living in the Dvaitavana, they were living in their exile period. At that time, Duryodhana was thinking, somehow I should create some jealousy, and I want to see the sufferings of Pandavas, and I want to increase that suffering by showing off my wealth. So what he did, he took all his army with army and all his entire entourage, with all decorated nicely. They all went to the forest, where they were living, and he wanted to show off his wealth. At that time, Gandharvas come and they fight with Kauravas. At that time, they catch hold of Duryodhana and they defeat him and they take him captive. At that time, all the Kuru soldiers, they become very much afraid and they come to running to Yudhishthira Maharaj and ask, please save, our Duryodhana is now caught hold. At that time, Yudhishthira Maharaj, he thinks, when an opposite party attacks us, we are 105. Amongst us, there may be differences. We may be 5 and they may be 100. But when somebody else attacks Kuru, we are 105. So please go immediately and rescue Duryodhana. So, and they beg Gandharvas and they fight also and they release Duryodhana. So this is the broad-mindedness of Yudhishthira Maharaj. And they are usually, when the sign of another maturity is, they are open-minded. They are not closed-minded. They see everything with a broad vision. Duryodhana was always thinking of how he will get kingdom. How he will get kingdom. But Yudhishthira Maharaj, they were never thinking that, they never faced a difficulty of coexisting along with Kauravas. But Duryodhana was always thinking, if Pandavas are existing, then I cannot live. This was what is Duryodhana mentality. If Pandavas are existing, that means I am lost. So this is lack of open-mindedness. So one other sign of maturity is open-mindedness, forgiveness, and then also they respect the differences in amongst people. They can know that this person is a different and I am different, but I respect what you are. So that kind of a broad-minded approach is there. And they don't force love. They don't force love. That means you should love me only. So actually, this very, of course, it takes too much time to explain. But I am just saying that Draupadi did not envy when Subhadra got married to Arjuna. Of course, initially she was little afraid that she'll be neglected. But as soon as Arjuna comforted her, and also Subhadra came and showed her gentle behavior, immediately Draupadi was pacified. She did not feel that I am the only person who is supposed to be queen of Arjuna or somebody like that. So they don't force love. And of course, there are many like that, but few points of maturity signs which I just thought I'll share. Of course, I have taken so much time. Respecting differences. Like Pandavas, all had different natures. Each one was each personality in Pandavas. Everyone was unique. And everyone had their own tastes, strengths, and shortcomings. And so everyone respected for what they are. And they contributed in a way that they could contribute using their own natures and strengths. And when there was a shortcoming, they were ready to seek the help of others, and others were ready to help them in their shortcomings. So together they were actually united, a very powerful force. But alone, but problem amidst Kauravas, all were one. They did not have such a bonding. Though they were all very powerful, Bhishma, Drona, Kripa, and 100 sons of Dhritarashtra, though they were all very powerful, but there was no unity. They lacked that unity. They lacked that cohesive force amidst them. So that is hope, right? Ramayana Shringi comes up. Is it? Lord Rama's sisters. Who? Lord Rama's? Rishya. Yeah. Shringa actually means deer. Shringa actually means deer. So Rishyashringa. Actually, he was a Rishi plus a Shringi because he came out because he is the seed of him was actually placed in the womb of a deer. So deer gave birth to him. So he had horns also, but he was actually a sage. That's why he is named as Rishyashringa. He is not the same person. No, I just, of course, I'm not generalizing. But this is a natural trend, which I'm saying. But but of course, many elders also may do accident. Okay, yeah. What was your question? I did not. Yeah. They are immature in their temperament. Inner growth is lacking. Yeah. Their inner growth has not happened actually. Their body's growth has happened. Elder people, but inner growth has not happened. That's why so many fights are there actually. Family fights are because of immature people only, because they don't understand. One doesn't understand another. That's why now one sign of maturity is to respect differences. If a husband understands wife and a wife understands husband, and they respect for what they are and respect their position, because wife wants to compete and want to take the role of husband, and husband, Papa, he becomes. See what happens to husband. See, when wife also wants to take the role of a husband, she also wants to go to work and wants to control house. At that time, husband has to take the role of wife actually. He has to become a cook and has to maintain a house. But actually, it is not a natural position for a man. So both are competing. So when the competition is there, then there is a fight. Of course.
ನನಗೆ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಕೊಳ್ಳಕ್ ಬರ್ತಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಪೂಜೆ ನಾವು ಪುನಃ ಕುಕ್ಕಿದ್ರು ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ಅವಾಗ ಹಸ್ಬೆಂಡ್ ವೈಫ್ ಹಿಡಿದಿಲ್ಲ ನಿನ್ನೆಗ ಅಂದ್ರ ಪೂರ್ತಿ ದಿನ ಭर काम करता है हस्बैंड रात में आके कुत्ता का जैसा सोता है कुत्ता बन जाता है ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ನನಗೆ ಒಂದ್ಸಲ
Okay, you want to add, Prabhu, anything? I am.
Obsession, self-defensive and reactive. Sense of maturity. And sense of maturity is open-minded and respecting differences and forgiveness. Thank you. Nice.